Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WhiskAYE podcast. This is episode number 39. Getting up there in numbers now, as livers are still going, and we will keep going until they don't. This one is it's a little bit bittersweet, I suppose. Maybe not so much for my co-presenter, but this one is themed around the Whiskey Jubilee. So it was released in June, which was Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee, and unfortunately. I don't know, I'm laughing. A couple of months later, she died. And that has been and gone now, obviously. I'm not predicting the future. That I think would be sedition. So it's now King Charles. So it's a little bit kind of, I don't know, but we will drink in her honour, I guess.
Yeah.
Her memory. And I'll stop the preamble and get us into it. So the card reads, we couldn't let the Queen's Platinum Jubilee go by without celebrating in our favourite fashion with some cracking good drams. We've cunningly curated a selection of 5 drams whose ages add up to a total of 70 years. That's how long she was ruled for. And we've topped that off with a very special 6 dram that is 25 years old, the same age as young Elizabeth II was when she succeeded to the throne in 1952. Cheers to Queenie, cheers to whiskey, and cheers to you. So, yeah, 70 years is a long time.
95 years is a longer time.
It is. I don't think she was the longest serving monarch. She was the longest serving British monarch. I don't think she's the longest serving monarch.
Ever. I mean, I can't imagine there's many that have got lot more years than that. Not many
I feel
people
like
live
there's
long.
some that were like child kings and around.
Yeah, but a lot of them died young because they had to show face on the battlefield. No, don't send a 5-year-old to the battlefield.
He's the king. He's ordained by God. Oh, we need a new king.
God must have not liked that one.
Yeah, well, it's proof. So, you're going to be hearing a lot of my voice in this one, and I know that's what most of you are here for, but because unfortunately my co-presenter doesn't have the cards, he didn't receive them.
Maybe they were worried that if they sent north of the border or something, you know.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did send him north of the border and they got intercepted.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more Republicans this side of the border than there are that side, I would say.
I don't know why. Lack of gratitude, I think. So we shall get straight in. So as it's kind of said there, the 5 whiskies, not including the 6 dram, add up to 70 years. So we've got some pretty old ones for the 5.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty rare that we don't have any no age statement ones.
Quite rare, yeah.
It's going to be hopefully quite a good one, and we've got a good range of different types as well. So we'll start
there is
off.
A lot of we can just sort of do a quick. I'm not going to name them all, but we've got a couple of single malts, a blended Scotch, a blended malt, a single grain. So I
think that's every type you can have, other than maybe like a rye. Although the single grain could be rye in Scottish nomenclature, or the blended Scotch could have rye in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got basically a mix of malts, a single malt, a single grain, and a mix of malt and grain. So it's a good series, this one. So the first one we've got is the Epicurean, aged 12 years. The Epicurean series is a blend of lowland malt whiskey from legendary indie bottlers Douglas Lang. This 12-year matured bottling is cut above the core release and is bursting with honeyed barley, ripe peaches, and spice, the best that the Lowlands has to offer. We like Lowlands whiskey, so we will see.
Let's be honest, though, we more or less like all whiskey.
That's true. That's true. I was going to say, but Lowlands holds a special place in this heart. Behind, for me, Speyside and Campbelltown, but then that puts it firmly in the middle of the regions. It's in first place behind.
It's in first place. It's in first place behind 2 in a field of 5.
Like the story of my life. So, on the nose, we should get sweet honeyed barley, candied peels, and toasted nuts.
It's quite sweet.
It is, but there is a bit of toastiness to it.
It's sort of a little bit maybe piney.
Yeah, there is a kind of woodiness to it. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I might be on the wrong wood, but it doesn't smell oaky.
No, it smells lighter than that. Like lighter wood.
I think pine is a bit too sour a smell, but
You're gonna go like beech or something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Pick another. I was gonna say another softwood, but I have no idea if beech is.
Me neither.
No, my knowledge of wood is not great. So I'll let you dive in. This is gonna be quite annoying actually. I'm gonna get first dibs on all of them. But anyway, so you should get sugar with citrus zest, ripe peaches, and a touch of spice. The finish should be cut grass and a herbal character, a gristy quality with coconut flakes and brown sugar. Quite unusual finish.
It's quite creamy.
That is quite creamy, but I get what they mean by the finish is quite savoury for the start.
Yeah.
It kind of, not bitter, but almost getting to bitter.
Maybe.
Finish. Yeah, I'm not sure how to go herbal, because herbal always makes me think kind of like going towards medicinal peat, kind of heathery kind of flavours.
Make me think gin.
Yeah, like botanicals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it's closer to that than it is to heather in that.
Yeah, it does have. Yeah, it's almost a little bit bitter, like.
Yeah, I think it's fair. So I'm going to put very creamy and mildly sweet. To begin with an almost bitter quality in the finish. It's nice.
I would agree.
It's
Definitely.
different.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting anything like coconut or that in it, but.
Coconut to me is always like that kind of a flat flavour. If it was a colour, it'd be matte. No.
I get you. Not gloss.
Yeah, exactly. Not like an anthracite, which obviously has to be matte, but you know, like a matte white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I get that from it. No.
It's a. I get a lot, to be honest.
If you hold it a bit,
yeah,
there's a little bit of that like honeyed almonds kind of flavour. And I've never had honeyed almonds, but it made me think of them for some reason.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Makes you think of the concept of honeyed
on
almonds.
another tasting note somewhere, and it's reminding me of that previous whiskey, which I don't know which one it is, but it made me sound good for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want me to score first, or do you want to score first?
Yeah, why don't you score first? Go on.
I am going to give that a 2.5.
2.5. Someone's been harsh today. I'm going to go a 3. And I think we're doing it for the exact same reasons. I think it was pretty middle of the road.
Yeah. I'm just
saying.
I think there's I need room to grow in this box.
I see what you're saying. I think for me, 2.5 is on the unpleasant side of middle of the road.
Yeah.
And 3 is on the pleasant side of middle of the
But
road.
I probably wouldn't order that.
I wouldn't buy a bottle of it, no. I think it was a little bit forgettable, but I don't think it was unpleasant. But you're allowed to be wrong.
Also, I googled beech, and it's a hardwood.
Oh. And we need to find another softwood. Like pine.
Balsa.
You reckon it tasted like balsa?
Maybe, I don't know.
What about cedar?
Could be. Actually, maybe is it? I don't know.
We'll go with cedar. I'm going to put red cedar because Google, Wikipedia only lists red cedar and softwood. So I don't know if that's just an example.
Yeah.
And other cedars are hardwood, so we're going to go really specific. Welcome to WhiskAYE. You see, Gordon MacPhail said it was all about the wood.
Yeah. Don't know if this is exactly what they meant, but this should be more specific.
Next time, if we ever go there again, we'll have to say, oh, it's got kind of like a red cedar, maybe a Monterey pine kind of note. I think I think you'll find it's an eastern white pine. You're like, oh yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
That's the badger.
They're like, what are you talking about? It's in oak, obviously.
We've been eating wood in preparation for this. Eating wood shavings.
My mouth's just. This is really painful because my mouth is all splinters.
It's painful, but also necessary because I really needed to sterilize those wounds.
Yeah.
Okay, I shall move us on to number 2 then, shall I?
Good hope.
So this is Crabby Speyside 12-year-old. The card reads, perhaps more famous for green ginger wine, John Crabby is a whiskey industry pioneer of considerable legend, trading spirits as long ago as 1801. One-time founder of the North British Distilling Company, Crabby left the business to his family upon his death in 1891. Relaunched in 2007, the Crabby brand now releases small batches of excellent single malts, like this Speyside 12-year-old.
I wonder if that's like Crabby, like the Crabby's alcohol ginger beer.
That's the badger, yeah. Maybe. You want to look it up?
I can look it up, but I'm not providing any of the.
Well, you were going for your first taste, though,
but yeah.
Pouring it out. But yeah, you can look it up while I tell you what we should get on it. I'll try again. Forgot about the nose. It was like me trying to say lasagna. Every time I tried to say lasagna, I just couldn't say it. And I wasn't even drunk.
Yeah.
It's not a word built for Yorkshire.
What, lasagna.
Yeah.
I will have some of that lasagna.
That wasn't too bad, to be fair. But you are half Yorkshire. So.
Yeah, my dad is from, like,
Yorkshire. We don't need to get into specifics about where from Yorkshire.
No.
But this will creep into it.
Well, I mean.
It's like yin and yang, innit? Because I'm half Scottish, quarter Scottish.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, and you're half Yorkshire, so it's like yin and yang. Oh, you like this one? The nose, notes of green orchard fruits with candied pecans, vanilla, and soft spice. I got 2 notes on this one. One, I think Chris has been listening to his thing and heard us saying orchard fruits. So
because he says it a lot now, yeah.
Up the game to green orchard fruits to make us look foolish. It's like
oh, it's not a red apple.
It's like it's
not
like
white pear.
Like if you're gaming and you've got all the best stuff from season 1, but everyone's already into season 2.
Yeah.
Just like that. He's like, oh, you're still collecting those orchard fruits, are you? Over here in the cool kids corner, we do green orchard fruits. And also that I really like pecan pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say this actually has a leathery quality to it.
I can get behind that, yeah.
But
like orchard fruits from that?
I do if you like do a big deep breath.
I just get more leather if I go for a deep breath. I get a little bit of something to begin with, but then it goes.
It's got some kind of it's like a little acidity to it.
It does.
And that'll be what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would go with like apple skins.
Yeah. That's sort of where I'm at. That combines the waxy leatheriness with the orchard fruit pretty perfectly, if you ask me.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what you should be tasting. Rich, fruity flavours of sweet apple with hints of cinnamon and rich vanilla. That sounds lovely. Finish, balanced and warming with more sweet orchard fruits and vanilla.
So what they're saying is this is an apple crumble with custard.
Yes. A good apple crumble if it's got cinnamon in it.
Don't know that I get cinnamon. I do get a lot of vanilla.
There's a lot of vanilla in that. A little bit of orchard fruit, definitely. Maybe a little bit of like biscuitiness at the end.
Yeah, which would go with the crumble plan. I would say it's kind of malty.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what I meant by biscuitiness. Yeah. So we're going to go with tons of vanilla, pears, and a malty.
It probably is more like pear than apple, actually.
It's because apple's sweeter.
It's flatter.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing it as a shout out to you, you know.
Yeah.
One day you'll have to like make your own pear company.
I don't even like pears. legitimately think they're like substandard to apples in every
Well,
way.
that's perfect. So you won't eat your own product.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get Hamilton supply.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I like that one. It's not, again, like, it's kind of like the previous one in that it's quite clean,
Mm.
it's quite fresh,
Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of
but it's still very
deep,
nice.
heavy flavours. They're all quite.
Yeah, they're all quite light. You'd expect this to be like a Glen Grant.
Yeah. I mean, there's a Speyside. It could. I don't know where the Krabby.
I think they do quite a lot of. Well, this is from, I'm guessing, from the North British. No, because North British is a lowland, isn't it?
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe not. Well, definitely not.
It is the same company, I think.
Yeah, I saw it in the card and I was like, oh, it must be one of theirs, but no, it can't be. So.
No, I mean, I think the whiskey and the
Oh, the
ginger beer.
Harry's ginger beer.
Yeah. I'm struggling because I have to. Yeah, so Krabby's ginger beer and Krabby's whiskey are. Well, there is a whiskey that made by that company. I assume they're the same. It'd be just difficult to get away with having such a similar named product.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the cinnamon, but other than that, I think they're pretty on the nose.
Might be just that we're not sensitive enough to cinnamon. Although I would say I usually notice cinnamon in things.
I think it's usually pretty noticeable. Did you know, by the way, just to keep on our favourite topic, softwood is the source of about 80% of the world's production of timbers. I mean, I figured it'd be a lot because, a lot is made out of pine.
Also, it's a lot easier to cut down softwood.
Yeah. But I thought with oak, that'd be quite a substantial amount.
Yeah.
It's used for quite a lot. But I guess oak's used in more like high-end kind of things, isn't it?
Still timber, though, isn't it? Until it becomes something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you get in oak, it's generally for something more expensive, whereas pine and that is just like mass-produced stuff, isn't it?
That's
and
fair.
Even not even that now. Can't even afford pine nowadays.
Yeah, it's chipboard.
Pressboard, yeah. It's everything in my house is made out of that. But it's painted to look like wood, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's got a plastic veneer that's patterned like wood.
Probably accelerated the demise of a species by about 20 minutes per piece of furniture that I buy, but not that chopping down trees is a good thing either.
No, but you can replant trees. You can't replant.
I mean, we could replant oil, but people just won't make dinosaurs again.
Also, the time investment, the ROI is quite far in the future.
That's only because it takes a while to compress it. If we just had a load of people jumping up and down.
Well, I mean, they can turn ash into diamonds now, so they should be able to.
Yeah, how hard can it be?
Turn remains into oil. I think there needs to be some amount of time rotting as well, but
probably. But I'm sure I could figure something out.
You figure that one out, you become probably the richest person ever.
Get told Musk on it. He's really good at turning things to shit super quick. Topical joke there.
Yeah.
Right. Did you want to give that one a score?
Struggle to give it more than the last one, so.
Really?
No, I'm lying. That's a 3.
Yeah, I'm going to do similar logic and go for 3.5.
I would say that I'm happier with considering that to be a 3 than the other one. So that's. I'm agreeing with my position, but maybe I am being harsh today. We'll find out.
Well,
might catch up on the next 2.
I can say I think this is the one that we've got his eye on, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I certainly do. I know Alex. So this is the single grain.
Yeah.
For those of you at home,
it's also very odd in that, first of all, we know that this box is full of age stuff, and you don't often get an age statement on a grain whiskey.
True.
Especially not 22 years
old. Old single grain is usually quite rare because they just use it in blends generally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so this is a 22-year-old single grain. I really like single grains. You don't mind single grains, but I don't think you like them as much as I do.
I prefer a rye.
Yeah. So this is.
And I'm also sometimes I don't like a rye, but that's another day.
That covers the whole range there, doesn't it? I really like a rye, but sometimes I don't like a rye.
What I meant was I've had more ryes come out that I like than single grains, but
Right.
there's also the occasional rye where I'm like, what is this doing?
Well, to be fair, rye's got a soft spot in our hearts because our best ever run as comedians was related to ryes.
Yeah, that was also on the shiny box.
Right, it was a good box.
We'd like more shiny boxes,
More
even
shiny
if there is a
boxes.
cost of living crisis. I can, keep the heating off for an extra day. Buy 4 shiny boxes for the price of that. So
Sure, Jen won't mind when you explain the reasoning behind her freezing to death. Just like, I need a shiny box.
Oh, I mean, I work from home. It's me that's freezing during the day.
Fair enough. So anyway, this is the third whiskey, and it is Clondeni Loch Lomond 22-year-old, and as previously mentioned, it's a single grain. So the first one was a blended malt. The Crabbie was a single malt. This is a single grain. So the card reads: we interrupt our impressive lineup of 12-year-old drams with something special, a full decade older. Here at the Dram team, we're huge fans of well-aged single grain whiskies, Scotch made with grains over the malted barley, often in a column still rather than a traditional pot still. And this 22-year-old not only fits that bill, but also boosts us nicely on our way to our magical total of 70. An all-around win-win and a delicious treat for the taste buds. So on the nose reveals hard candy, it's very American, alongside citrus fruits and brown sugar with a hint of damp oak. Would you call it like I think an old-fashioned thing would be calling it a boiled sweet, not a.
I'd call it a boiled sweet, yeah.
Yeah. Or just a sweet. I mean, I know Haribo and that is sweets, but
Yeah. It's like you have like. The weird thing though, right, is that Americans would call chocolate candy, whereas I think in this country candies are like.
Candies are boiled sweets.
Yeah.
Or like pick and mix.
I would say that a pick and mix is like jellies or chews.
Yeah, okay.
Like
a bar of sugar would be a candy.
Yeah. I would always assume that candies are like, Werther's Originals.
Oh. See, I think that's contentious because there's chocolate in it.
No, Werther's Originals is toffee, but it's a hard toffee, and a hard toffee is essentially a hard candy. Cause
I'm not sure I call a toffee a candy.
Well, it's because it's hard. It's just a browned off version of boiled sugar.
Like a crystallized sugar though, like a.
I think it's just been cooked for like a minute longer.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but anyway.
But yes,
I think
it's quite contentious, as you can see.
Yeah.
What would you call a tablet then?
Tablet is essentially a fudge.
It is. It's a better fudge.
But it's not fudge. It's better because it's crumbly.
I'll give you that.
And it's just more sweet.
Like
somehow.
Kendall mint cake.
Yeah.
Kendall mint cake is more sugar than sugar.
Yeah.
They somehow managed to make something more sugary than sugar.
Just cram it in. There we go.
Trying to make oil and they just made Kendall mint cake.
This is very citric, by the way. There's a little bit of because of the alcohol, this reminds me a little bit of like a citrus hand wash.
There is citrus, but I think there's quite a bit of caramelized sugar on there as well.
Oh, it's still sweet, yeah.
But it's like sweet but cooked smell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ego. The palate is deliciously fulsome with strawberries, summer hay, and honeycomb. Finish lingers on showing a spiced wood quality. Got red cedar.
That is very interesting. There's a fruit.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, and the finish is woody. It's very woody.
It's very vanilla woody though.
Mm-hmm, but
that is good.
Like it does taste. The finish is like when you bite into, if you've ever like actually bit down on like a lollipop stick or something.
Stick,
you're just like, oh, I've released the
Big
wood
fan of
flavour.
this.
It's good, but in the palate, it's. I was like, I wouldn't say strawberry, but
That's
I'm
another
not sure what it
caramelised
is.
sugar. It's almost salted caramel kind of flavours. That's what I get. There's a little bit of strawberry sweetness as you swallow, but like
It's like right
like
on the
fake
hard,
strawberry, like
yeah, on the hard sweets, it's like a Campari,
yeah,
strawberries and cream.
yeah, yes. Strawberries and cream is a real good one.
But it's fake strawberry. It's like
It's not a strawberries and you bang into the fruit. It's strawberries.
it's
and
strawberry sauce,
flavour.
or
Yeah.
That's why I think it's like a Campari, because it's like a sweet, creamy strawberry flavour.
Strawberry and cream. Sweet. Certain woodiness to finish. I think that's fantastic. But single grains.
Maybe I might be saying the wrong word. It's not Campari. What are they called? You know the one I mean? It's like a swirl,
We call
pink and
strawberry
white.
and cream. Literally just strawberries and cream. But I'm not a big fan of sweets, don't forget.
Yeah.
No.
Campino, that's what it is. I'll send you a picture of what I'm thinking of.
Cream sweets. Yeah, like a La Creme. Campino, yeah, okay. Yeah, I knew which one you meant.
Yeah.
The swirl one, but
that's what it reminds me of. Campari is a Aperol Spritz kind of vibe.
yeah, but it was like a aperitif or whatever.
That's the word, aperitif. Aperol is a different brand of aperitif, I think.
Yeah, I think the Aperol is like a liqueur or something like that. Because Aperol Spritz is like
With a wee bit of soda water.
I know you're right. It's a bitter aperitif. Going all over the place today. That was gorgeous. Yeah. That was exactly what I hoped for.
I've still got
finally Loman made a whiskey that I really like. It was always going to be an aged single grain if it was going to be anything. Don't get me wrong, I love a single malt, but single grain seems to just really tick the box for me every single time.
Yeah, it just had to be a 22. I didn't even realise Loch Lomond Distillery had been open or been distilling for 22 years. But
let's see, how much would that set me back?
It's probably like not available for purchase. No,
yeah,
Chris.
This is the problem, isn't it?
Oh, there was only 4 bottles, but I managed to get hold of enough of it to give it to all of my subscribers.
It is available.
How much?
£100. That's not bad for a blooming
22
larger
euros.
sample. For one of this, just 343 bottles were produced. He's a good lad, isn't he, Chris? Getting that in his normal bottling.
It's got some connections, that's for sure. That's just a normal bottle, not even. That's just a normal thing.
Yeah,
you must have
full on 25 mil.
Sometimes I think that he maybe just is like
cat burglar.
No, he's like a secret sort of philanthropist who loves whiskey and is just like, I'll just buy these expensive whiskies and send them out to people so they can drink them at an affordable price, and I'll take the hit. You know what I mean?
He is.
Like he's not actually. This business runs a pretty heavy loss.
He does it for a laugh.
Yeah.
Right, but do you want to give that one a score?
I'm going to go up a bit with that one and give it a 4, I think.
Going straight 4.5 on that. I'd be tempted even to go towards a 5. But I think I'm just getting a bit carried away. So I'll temper myself, but I really, really, really like that one.
Yeah. I guess now it's probably time for us to have a little detour and discuss our recent holiday.
Yes. Well, you call it holiday, it was a research trip.
Yeah. It was a work trip.
Work trip.
Yeah, but
that's what my taxes say.
Yeah, well, I mean,
as if I filed my own taxes. Not American.
Work. Even if I was self-employed, I'd get a.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I actually have a government that grudgingly, actually does some things to help me rather than just,
Yeah. Oh, you got this wrong. You owe us £1 million now.
But look at this aircraft carrier that we got. I mean, fair, we did do that twice, but
yeah,
depressed. Go
on. Yeah. So we recently, as in, I think what was it? 2 weeks ago? We were up in Dufftown, which is home to many a distillery in Speyside. It's Glenfiddich, Balvenie, Mortlach, the Dufftown distillery, and Kinivy.
Balvenie Way, and also Glendullan.
And Glendullan, yes.
They make that joke, don't they? Dufftown, that thing of Rome was founded on 7 hills. Dufftown was founded on 7 stills. And
I think I've missed one, but yeah.
Well, there's ones there that have since closed in those 7 stills.
Yeah, we were up. Our plan was to go and visit finally go and visit the Balvenie, but turns out that when corporate company comes in and decides that they want to book out the whole distillery, your tour gets cancelled and they send you an email that we didn't expect and so didn't see. So that was a bit of a downer, but we managed to turn it round and had a good time. Big shout out on the topic of 7 stills, big shout out to 7 stills. Who
if you're ever up in Dufftown,
may or may not be easily located on the internet and in real life, since apparently they're turning themselves into more of a what's it called, speakeasy kind of vibe. But
actually, you can put me out of my misery here. What did you have to eat?
Haggis, neeps and tatties.
That was the budget. Thank you.
With whiskey cream sauce.
Because I was telling my parents, I was like, because I still think it's probably the best thing.
You were in a daze with your game venison lasagna.
That venison lasagna was amazing.
So this is a restaurant that we visited. That restaurant / whiskey bar / speakeasy. That it's run by a couple of people. It's out there. Basically, they bought the inn, and they run the bar, but you have to get in round the back, and it's just the 2 of them. So French food and whiskey, basically. That's the vibe. A little bit of but being that managed to get haggis, neeps and tatties, I'd say it's like a French fusion. Because you had lasagna, that's Italian. I had haggis, neeps and tatties, that's Scottish. But
I feel like the venison bit was quite Scottish as well.
Yeah, but with a French twist on everything.
Yeah. Well, I've never had a chef come out and say, it took me 20 hours to make the sauce. You got to try that first, and you got to do it. It was fun. And she was can't remember her name because I'm slightly drunk, but very friendly, very welcoming.
I'm trying to remember myself. It's on the tip of my
I want to say
Rose, I think.
I was going to say Rose.
Yeah.
But I was worried it is the wrong name, so I apologise if it is.
Well,
Patrick.
Yes. Which I thought didn't sound very French, but then I remembered that Patrice is also French, but he might just have anglicised it. Some people do that. If you're
up in Dufftown,
definitely worth a visit. Also, you will have to check when they're open because they're open when they're open.
Yeah, because there's only the 2 of them.
More advice on if you're ever up in Dufftown: don't go on a Monday.
Yeah,
nothing's open. Literally, the co-op is open and the Indian takeaway is open. Not even the Chinese takeaway. No cafes are open.
No, I can explain it either because we did ask.
Glenfiddich isn't open. They're not open on Tuesdays either.
No. The cafe's not open at all.
I think it might be because we were in close season.
Yeah, could be.
Balvenie, you can't go into unless you're booked. Literally says, unless you're booked, turn back now. And then you arrive at the office and they're like, there's no tours today. What are you doing on our land? And then you're like, we have a tour. All confident as hell. Then you go into your emails and find the email that says it's cancelled. And then they just sort of look at you like...
Yeah, it was my fault. I should have seen the email.
It's also their fault for not honouring a booking.
True. Yeah.
Well,
bad thing. We hate him now.
Yeah.
Always really nice.
Double was more like double pooed.
Ooh, double poo.
Yeah. But no, I mean we'll probably still get round. We have to go back now.
Yeah.
I think we're at the stage now where we'll be revisiting places when we go up to Speyside, but or
Yeah.
in the car for most of it. But
What did we do this time?
This time, so yeah, enough of the things that we didn't manage to do, like Glenfiddich, like revisit our expensive lunch at Glenfiddich or go to Balvenie. Instead, the things we did do on the way up from Glasgow, where Josh got off of the plane.
Doxed me.
But you live somewhere that is close to an airport that flies to Glasgow. There's a few places.
Josh.
Yeah. my illustrious co-host. Yeah. But yeah, it's the only
one of those
Josh.
3 people that watched us as a stalker. I'm begging.
Yeah. The problem being, if they were actually a stalker, they probably would know who you were by now. But
yeah.
Yeah.
So on the way up from Glasgow, after
we
you
went,
me.
yeah, we went to. I mean, I've doxed myself. I've said where I picked you up from, so I live somewhere that I can drive to Glasgow Airport. So
yeah, thanks a lot, Frank.
Yeah. But it's we went. Where was it? We went. I've just.
Tullamartin.
Oh yeah, Tullamartin. I was blanking because I was laughing too much about doxing. Yeah, we went into Tullamartin, driver's packs, but not actually driver's packs. And the guy was
didn't
also.
have anything to drink. I had.
Yeah.
The guy. For the legal side of.
Yeah, the guy was very insistent on me at least smelling the whiskey, but.
I had a couple of samples because I wasn't driving.
Yeah, and then they gave us a double bottle for the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a very good tour.
Yeah, really good tour guide as always.
Yeah, explained the history of their distillery very well. Even showed us where the point where they pour their barley in. So
yeah,
was disappointed that you managed to steal his anecdotes about Sheffield built mills.
Mill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, a Yorkshire mill. And does it did the company go bust because they made them so well that they didn't need to repair them? And he was like, "You just ruined my tour."
Yeah. And then so that was our wee whiskey on the way up, and we stopped for some dinner just at Aviemore. It's not quite the way, but it's near enough.
Yeah, I had a lasagna there as well.
Yeah, you had
lasagna. Eat a lot of lasagna. I had a lot of lasagna.
Yeah. It's good food, isn't it? But okay, Garfield.
But yeah, I had to go for it. So.
Yeah, but then on the Monday morning, we went to Glenfarclas, which was a bit of a bucket listy one in its own right.
Yeah, definitely.
And they had another great tour there. Another tasting which we didn't do because I was driving, and then she gave us one to smell, and then we got another double, but then we bought we made our own driver's pack and bought for some reason we bought a taster of 105 as if never had it before.
But I think we had was it the 12 that they gave us a double of?
Uh-huh.
And we bought the 105, the 10 and the 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we had a wee tasting of our own at home with that.
Yeah.
And then when we failed to get into the Balvenie, we did a bit of a walking tour. We
mile measurements in space.
Yeah, we went and bought some miniatures from the whiskey.
I think it's called the whiskey shop, isn't it?
I think it might be just the whiskey shop, yeah. And we bought 3 Glen Alakis, who are interestingly their new distiller. It's the old distiller, I think maybe blender, but from the place we visited the next day. But yes. Anyway, we got ourselves the 10, the 12, and the 15 again, I think.
Yep.
Oh, 10, 15, and 18 maybe.
It was some combination like that.
Yeah. And went for a walk to see some of the distilleries you can't actually visit. So we.
A few landmarks.
Yeah, we went up to Balvenie Castle.
Yep.
Then round the back of that, we followed the road, and then we were at
Glendullan.
Yep. Then followed around a little bit further, went past.
Was it Mortlach Church?
Mortlach Church, and then Dufftown and Mortlach Distillery were in that same area. And then we saw a sign. So we, at this point, we had a whiskey at the castle, a whiskey at the church, and then we thought, we'll have our last one. We need another place to go. And we were like, well, we could just walk back into Dufftown and go to the clock tower. That is the landmark. But then we saw the sign saying Giant's Chair, half mile. Disturbingly, it was half a mile from both ends of the village in different directions, but we didn't take that red flag as thinking maybe it won't be half a mile. It wasn't half a mile.
It was a lot more.
It was at least 1.5 miles, probably closer to 2, on a muddy path that was occasionally very slippy because of the dead leaves.
Quite pleasant in places.
It was nice. It was along a river. You could see, get a good look at Mortlach, I think. Was it Mortlach or was it Dufftown?
Dufftown, yeah.
Yeah. Get a good look at that distillery, though. The Giant's Chair was a bit disappointing.
There was nothing there. Well, no,
it was,
I changed. There was a corrugated metal shelter.
Yeah, and a plaque on the floor that said Giant's Chair and a chain to stop you falling off.
Did we?
No, I just thought I'll go and have a look at that chain and see what it says, and then there was a little plaque on the floor that said Giant's Chair.
And when we talked to Rose back at the Seven Stills and we said we'd been to Giant's Chairs, she was like, "Yeah, it's not a lot there, is it?" Like, no, no, it's not.
Yeah, and then that night we went to Seven Stills just to get a whiskey and to book in for a dinner for the next day, and had an Indian takeaway.
Yes, we had a pint.
Yeah.
Then we had a takeaway, and then we went back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Before
and
we
then
move on to the next day, do you want to move on to the next whiskey and we'll discuss the final day with a whiskey?
Yeah.
Just as an idea.
Probably a good idea.
Just you've got a lot to get through, is all. So I thought, you must be getting parched.
I'm just getting a bit thirsty.
I will move on to number 4, and then we will carry on to the next day. Now, so number 4 is the Syndicate 58/6. It's a / those of you who are blind. 12-year-old. Card reads, in the 1950s, a rare blend of malt and grain scotches based on a recipe from the 1800s was found. Since turning 12 in 1966, the Syndicate blend has been produced using a Solera system, reblending new stock with old. In other words, this bottle contains a minute fraction of whiskey from 1958. Each release is finished for up to 2 years in Oloroso sherry casks. Quite incredible.
That'll be the 58.
Yes.
58/6.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the 6
This
is
smells.
1966.
Don't know. Nah.
It looks like a sherry whiskey, doesn't it?
It smells very nice.
Does it smell sherried?
I would say probably.
Yeah, it does. Still got that kind of caramelized sugar, but more kind of sherry flavors to it.
It's
warm
richer
on the nose with ginger, as it says.
Yeah.
But it says nose, nuances of Seville orange, bergamot, and honeyed pear. Warm on the nose with ginger and jasmine.
Definitely could get this Seville orange.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of got those gingers.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just type that down, and then I will get us on the palate. Okay, so the palate. There's no finish on this one. Rich and intense taste of Dundee marmalade, glazed apple, and caramel combined with a gentle whisper of figs, forest fruits, and treacle in hedonistic harmony, or hedonistic harmony, depending on how you pronounce it. Hedonism sounds better, but I feel like it's hedonistic. Not a fan of.
It was very on the finish. It's quite orangey. Sorry.
It's quite sherry.
Yeah, I personally would say hedonism and hedonistic, but I get that hedonism sounds.
I don't know which one's the Yank way of saying it, to be fair.
I'm pretty sure we looked this up before.
Maybe. Yeah, compass box.
Yeah. It's based on Greek, I think, but
it is.
That's very nice.
It is very nice. It's kind of caramelized sugar. There's definitely a bit of kind of, I don't want to say cooked orange, but like orange in something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not an orange by itself. Like you got like an orange cake.
Like
or
orange
something.
rind on a
Yeah.
like a gingery biscuit or something,
Mm, mm.
or a gingery biscuit with orange chocolate or something like that. I'm getting gingeriness. I don't know why.
Yeah. Orange ginger is a good shout. With orange chocolate. It's got a nice warming finish as well. Now. That's very pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
This is one for like a cold winter's night. I mean, malt whiskey is.
Yeah, but this
No
one
one
would
drinks whiskey when
go
it's-
well by the fire.
Mm.
Yeah, when it's really warm out, whiskey isn't great.
Yeah, no one's like, oh, I could do a refreshing drink.
Absolutely
Yeah,
murder a room temperature whiskey.
Yeah. Why am I still so thirsty? Maybe more whiskey. That's coming from two whiskey fanatics. So. Trust us.
I probably have had whiskey when I probably should have had a beer, but you know.
I like how your second option was still alcoholic. That's good.
I was meaning if I was going to have a refreshing alcoholic beverage, beer would have been the choice, not.
Yeah, something like. I must admit, don't tell my my old man this, but I'm getting quite a taste for hazy IPAs.
They're good.
They are in the right situation here.
They're fruity.
Yeah, they're just easy to drink.
Yeah.
It's really easy. I mean, I like my dark beers. Don't get me wrong. I love a porter.
Hazy IPA is like. That is a summer day beer right there, done.
It is. It is.
If you get one that says session hazy IPA, you're like, oh, I can drink like 5 of these.
Yeah, I quite like a hazy IPA or like. I mean, there's all sorts of things. There's like New England IPAs and West Coast IPAs and bloody.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit
Milkshakes,
fresher than. Because an IPA
marshmallow.
is generally quite bitter.
Yeah.
But I think a hazy IPA is generally more fruity.
Yeah. I was having a.
Sorry, I realised we just powered straight through that whiskey. You didn't get.
I haven't finished it.
I have.
Mallow Laser Quest is what I was drinking on the other night, which is a Brewdog, which is like marshmallow hazy IPA. It's pretty ridiculous.
Even for a brewdog,
It is 6% though, so you know.
Brewdog always gets my back up a little bit, but no, that's
They're very. It's their use of the word punk, which is very, very, very liberal concept of what punk means. But
yeah, I just don't like the owners. I think they're.
No, they aren't.
Well, to be fair, I think they like themselves enough that I don't need to.
Yeah. I can score this and then go on to my our final day if you wish.
Let's score it, go on to the next one, and sip the next one.
Okay. So I would like to give this another 4.
4. I'm with you on that one. That is definitely a 4 in my mind. One day, you can start doing some of this. Right.
If I type on my laptop keyboard, my fan will start making noise.
This is why you don't replace your laptop, because it gives you an excuse to not have to do anything.
Yeah.
5D chess. Ridiculous. Right. So I'll move on to whiskey number 5. I'll tell us what the nose and the palate and the finish is. We'll sip, and then as we sip in, you tell us about the final day, but sipping.
Yeah.
Is the key. Right, so this is Bal Blair 12-year-old. So the card reads, our 4th and final 12-year-old whiskey tots us all the way up to our combined total of 70 years maturation. Same length of time our illustrious Queenie has reigned, or did reign, it turns out. Aging equally as gracefully. Bal Blair Distillery has been around just a wee bit longer than our beloved Queen Elizabeth II, since 1790 in fact.
A wee bit.
This is Bal Blair's defining expression, and with a fine balance of fruit, spice and sweetness, truly encapsulates the gentle charisma of the Highlands and its whiskies. Now, so if this is a Highlands, we've had Highlands, Lowlands, Speyside. Lowlands is the Highlands, isn't it?
I would argue that the position where Loch Lomond Distillery is Lowland.
Is it which side of the? Because
It's
fault line,
south of Loch Lomond.
Because there's a fault line, isn't there? Basically, that separates.
Well, they say that the Highlands is basically between Perth and Loch Lomond.
Right. Okay. So it's.
And it's on the south side of it. They probably do because again,
Lowlands has got less of a marketing value.
Also, like, if the border is the loch and your whiskey is called Loch Lomond, you could argue.
Yeah.
You know. Well, they probably get their water from Ben Lomond, right, which is above the line. So like,
True.
the
Yeah.
distillery is probably on the line, like.
But the water is Highlands water. That's an interesting thing. If you had a distillery down in like Glasgow, but you got your water from Islay, you were now
I think
an
they
Islay
would
whiskey.
still make you call yourself a lowland. I think
Yeah,
they can only get away with, like, if you were on the border, you could say, yeah, but most of our stuff's from that side as well.
Yeah.
I think the actual issue is that I don't think Highland, Speyside, Lowland, Campbelltown, I don't think any of them are protected terms.
No.
With a
No,
true
it's like you see
definitive rule.
Macallan calling itself a Highland, and it's absolutely a Speyside.
Yeah.
It's
And
literally
then
right
I
next
think
to the Spey.
I think you could probably argue that Isla is a protected term. It might not actually be,
Island's
but
easy because it's on an island.
it's an island.
Yeah.
There is very clear
Campbelltown
border.
is
Where
pretty
does the
easy.
water start? It is no longer Isla. Yeah, Campbelltown's just stuff down around that side in that town. It's only one town. Like.
Yeah, exactly. But Speyside and Highland and Lowland is, definitely a bit of a blur. Right, I'll tell you what we've got on nose. I'll go straight through nose, palate, and finish.
Okay.
So that we can then be nosing it and sipping it as we will, while you talk about our next day, and making me reminisce and wish that I was there rather than. So the nose, elegant bright lemon peel layered with creamy vanilla and crisp green apples. He won't say pears anymore because he knows you like them. Palate, ground spices and dried orange slices, developed in intense set honey sweetness. It should have been like ground spices and dried orange slices enveloped in intense set honey niceness.
Yeah.
That would have been. So you got to get me to write the cards for you, Chris. Writing limericks. Finish. Creamy and leathery with notes of sweet vanilla. Although my limerick career is finished.
Has it, have you?
Poets only ever last a short time.
Yeah.
I think because people just get sick of them generally, but.
I had a way to rhyme it, but if you're retiring, then I'll bow down before I even start.
Tell us about our next day in Speyside instead.
Okay. Our next day, we started by going to. We've been to the gift shop at this location before, but we've never been to the tour. So we went to the Speyside Cooperage, and we got the bus there so that we could have the wee free whiskey they give you at the end.
Oh, liqueur it turned out, but yeah.
Yeah, whiskey liqueur apparently, but yeah, didn't really bother me. It was interesting to watch. They've got a mad machine that pushes the last inch on the bands now, and I thought that was quite fun to watch.
I think what I'd like to say about
obviously the skill of the guys, but they're so quick that you don't even really see what they're up to. You know, they're just like hammer that off because they get paid by the cask.
Yeah. I think they had that guy who broke the Guinness World Record, didn't he?
Yeah.
3 minutes, 3 seconds to make a cask.
Rebuild a cask. It's take a cask that's built, dismantle it, and then rebuild it.
I think the thing that struck me about two things that struck me about the Cooperage, Tor was a lot better than expected, and that's probably on me for being a bit snobby, I guess, because we've done distilleries and I expected it to be kind of trying to ride on the coattails of a distillery tour.
No, but they're very much not. No,
it really wasn't. And I mean, the video they did with the steam that came out on that was great.
Yeah, they had the old. If anyone ever went to like Universal or the Disneyland and you've been in the like 4D or 5D experiences, well, I saw Honey, I Shrunk the Audience at Disneyland Paris. That was 5D. The dog sneezed on you and you got sprayed with water.
Oh, we had that when the liquid Terminator blew up, you got sprayed with water.
Yeah, but they had a steam coming out when they were steaming the casks. It was very good.
It was very good, and it was a lot busier than I expected.
Yeah,
I must admit, I went into it thinking like I bet most casks now are made in like India or Brazil or somewhere where you can pay peanuts. No, they're really not. They were making loads.
Yeah,
it was complete. I mean, I think the most encouraging thing was they had loads of apprentices.
Yeah,
and that's always a good sign.
And they said that there's always a steady stream of people wanting to apprentice there.
Yeah,
so they must be paying decent.
It's a good sign that you've got people coming through because generally you can tell a dying trade by the fact that it's a couple of old guys and no one else.
Yeah, or the couple of old guys and a 16-year-old who's not sure if he's going to stick it.
Yeah, probably going to leave.
Yeah.
But no, they had like 4 or 5 apprentices, and it's like I say, it's competitive to get the apprenticeship. Like the people who want the apprenticeships, there's more apply than they can.
Yeah.
Take.
Yeah. So that was a good morning activity. And then turns out places are open as well on Tuesday, so we managed to get our breakfast in Dufftown. Didn't have to drive to Aberlour to find a cafe.
Shout out to the Aberlour Hotel for having a
cafe that's open on a Monday. Yeah. In the morning as well for breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast. Yeah. Then we were planning on going to the WhiskAYE Hotel, home of the Copper Dog, to have lunch in their bar, the Copper Dog. But they were shut. Weren't going to open until dinner. I think in the busier season they do lunch, but
COVID's hit the whole area quite hard, hasn't it?
So they were going to open at 4, but we had already booked our dinner that night. So we had we had some more activities to do, but it wasn't a problem because across the road from the WhiskAYE Hotel is the Highlander, which is was on a TV program. I don't know if you can elaborate.
Yeah, it was on. I can't remember what it was called, but it was on one that my parents recorded, and it was basically going around the different regions of Scotland. And the Highlander was a Japanese Japanese guy who had either travelled to Scotland on holiday. I can't remember the whole story, so apologies if I get it wrong. But I think he travelled to Scotland on holiday and kind of fallen in love with it, and decided that he wanted to open up his own whiskey bar in the middle of Speyside, and that's exactly what he did.
And it was very good.
It was.
They had a pretty big selection, very reasonably priced as well.
Yeah, there were some good ones, and the bartender, I think she was kind of a bit overworked in terms of I don't think it was meant to be just her.
No.
And I don't think she was generally on the whiskies because I don't think she knew the whiskies.
No, but she did her best.
She was really good. She was really good. You know, she was really friendly, really personable, and no complaints. Not everyone has to be into whiskey.
And I had a good steak pie there, so that was fun. Although Josh would argue it wasn't a steak pie because it was a pot pie with a puff pastry lid. But
what did I have? I had a burger. It was a very nice burger.
And then after that, we had to get on a bus again because we'd had a fair few whiskies by this point.
And they helped us find the right place for the bus.
Yeah, they did.
Out to the Highlander, very friendly place.
And we got the bus along to Benriach, which I believe when we were up before, when we were, was it Sarah said that it was very difficult to get into the Benriach?
Yes.
I think they might have changed now that they've got a new system because
if you're paying attention, you'll see that their branding has changed.
Yeah. So they no longer have a capital R in the middle, and Glenallachie now has a capital A in the middle because that's the sort of trademark of this guy. I can't remember if it was the distiller. I think it's the distiller. It might be I think it's the distiller.
It's someone fairly high up the tree that can actually change the marketing of the whiskey.
But so we were in there and we had a very good tour there. It was just us that were on the tour. So basically we got our own personal tour, and they had one of the warehouse managers came out and then took us far further into the warehouse than most people get to go, and
very interesting.
Showed us off some real fancy stuff. They had some quarter casks and all sorts of wild stuff going on in there, beers and beer casks and different wines and small casks and big casks and old casks, and
it was fantastic. It was a really good tour. I mean, the tour guide Emma, I think her name was.
Possibly, yeah.
Was really good, really knowledgeable, really friendly. But I think we just looked out the fact that it was just us two as well. So obviously it's a lot better when it's just.
And they even hurried our cocktail making class so that we could just drink the cocktails because our bus was due and the next one was going to be 2 hours later, and it was a £40 taxi to get home. So that was nice.
Fair, when we arrived, they called the taxi company to see how much the taxi would be.
Yeah.
So we got off the bus, which was really friendly.
We said we would pay anything up to about £20-25, and they said we didn't book you a taxi because it was over 40.
Yeah. And they gave us an extra whiskey
Yes.
because they were trying to convince me to like peated whiskey.
Oh yeah. And you actually, to be fair, didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. That is one I could have grown to like.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in the fact that Benriach, they do their own maltings, but they can only malt because of the size you need for maltings.
Well, because of their volume of production these days.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to keep up just malting it themselves. So that 1 week of the year, they use their own malted barley that they malt.
But that's
themselves.
the stuff that's taken them a year to malt, sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's
not quite. I think they have like a month where they malt the barley and then they get through that in like a week.
Yeah. But it was a really good tour.
Yeah, but that was part of why we wanted to go to the Balvenie, because they still malt their own barley as well. But it's fine. We'll see it one day. I'm not going to go on about it anymore. Then that evening we went for our dinner at our Seven Stills, and that was good.
Place.
It was very nice. I'd even be, if I was in the region but not staying there, I would consider trying to see if they could book us in at a time where we would be able to get back somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're anywhere around kind of that area, Speyside area, absolutely worth making the trip to Dufftown just for that.
Yeah. And then that was it. We drove home the next day and...
Well, we drove home via...
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, we drove home via the Ben Nevis distillery.
Which I can wholeheartedly recommend, because when you go to the Ben Nevis and you say, we're not here for a tour, we're just here, we're passing for a visit, they say, okay, well, here's his free blends, here's his free single malts. It's a $5 to taste the single malts, but the blends you can taste for free.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll taste the blends.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a fantastic.
Which had you fairly merry for our lunch and the final leg, the nice leg of the trip, the best bit of the road.
What a road!
Ben Nevis to Glasgow on the 82 is a pretty fantastic drive if anyone's looking for one.
Fact that every single lay-by was full of cars and people getting out to take photos.
Yeah,
it was gorgeous.
In like October, when it was Scottish October, whatever.
Yeah.
The waterfall was going some.
Oh, it was beautiful. Just the whole thing. I mean, I love that bit of the world.
It's pretty nice.
That was pretty special. Yeah. So
that
if
was
you
our
would pick a highlight then of our visit, just one, and there were quite a few.
Yeah.
What would you pick as a top? What was your favourite bit?
I did thoroughly enjoy the Seven Stills, but I would probably say getting our own tour, essentially, at Benriach, and getting to speak to basically getting our warehouse tour by the warehouse manager because he was passing, and the fact that they were you could tell that they were oh, got a tour with 2 people. Whoa. And then when we actually started asking questions, you could tell that it was a weight off. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, I think I've got to agree. I mean, I cannot sing the praises of that Seven Stills place high enough.
Yeah.
I honestly think that was the best restaurant meal I've ever had in my life. And Rose, and we must apologise if we've got a name wrong. We are drunk.
Yeah. And
it was a couple of weeks ago. But just really lovely atmosphere, really welcoming, really friendly. Couldn't go out the way enough to help you out. It almost felt like you were kind of in someone's home. I
think it basically you are.
And but the way we were talking between us, by the end, it was just like talking with a friend.
Yeah, it was come back and visit anytime. Yeah, obviously it's a business, but it wasn't she gave us a hug, yeah.
This was just, it was, and I don't know if that's just how she is or we just hit it off. I don't know if the other table that was in there I think we hit it off a bit better, to be honest.
I think, because obviously you could phone up and book, but we were walking past it on the Monday and we thought, says they're open on a Monday, will we just go in, see if we can get a drink and then book our dinner in person rather than when we've got time, nothing else is open.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of, when we just showed up and knocked on the door and she was like, hello?
Yeah, and but yeah, the Benriach. And I think it's a bit unfair on the Glenfarclas and the Tullibardine because those tours were fantastic as well.
Yeah,
but like I say, the fact it was just the two of us, and you could tell at first they were maybe a bit nervous because it's just two people, and then it's two blokes coming along, and maybe they're just going to be,
rowdy and drunk.
Rowdy and yeah, exactly. And I'll try to because it was two. I guess they were both younger than us.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, like early mid-20s.
Yeah.
So they're probably like looking at us too, and we were not drunk but fairly tipsy, and they're probably like, oh, here we go. They're going to be dicks trying to make jokes and blah blah blah. And now we were just genuinely interested in asking questions, and they were very knowledgeable and very friendly, and yeah, it was just a really good highlight to the tour, and turned it around. But I'm always happy to go to Speyside.
Yes. Well, we'll have to go back because we'll have to book into Balvenie again.
We have to do Balvenie.
I'll be there in like 6 years when I get room again. Yeah.
We'll make a carpet booking.
Yeah. When we're big, we'll book the whole place.
Yeah, so if you could like and subscribe.
So that we can book out the whole distillery.
Carpet bookings at Balvenie. Yeah. We'll pick a commenter to take with us.
Yeah. This is me saying that if we ever manage to get that, then we will come back to this video and find it.
Yeah.
The commenter.
And we didn't state any rules, so if it's one of his family members, there's nothing dodgy about that. We
no nepotism. There probably will only be one comment.
There will be nepotism. There you go. We'll state it outright.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about this fifth whiskey? So I've been slowly sipping away at it. I've put lemon zest and vanilla on the nose. I get it's almost sour to begin with. Creamy, and then a bit of bitterness at the end with quite a bit of vanilla going through, which seems
it does
to
have
bitterness, but
quite an acridity to it.
Yeah, I think it is quite acrid. That's a good.
I don't know if I've made up a word with acridity, if it should be acridness. But
I got what you meant though, and that's the point of language.
Well, because I figured if it's acidity, right, then
acridity, bitterness, or acerbity. I feel like acerbity is in language though, isn't it? Can a taste be acerbic? Anyway, can a statement be quite acrid?
Probably.
Join us next time as we dive into.
Yeah, join us next time. Our special guest Susie Dent.
Yeah.
As we dive into the.
I count myself a success if we could get Susie Dent on.
Me too.
She's great. Yes. Anyone? So, do you want to give this one a score?
Yes, I would like to probably go 3.5 with this one.
3.5. I will go.
Actually, no. I'm going to go 3.
I'm going to go 3. Yeah.
I'm going to mark it the same as the Crowley.
Just record that one. And apologise to everyone. This one is going to be a bit of a longer episode, but we did have a lot to talk about with our latest visit to Speyside. So, stop complaining.
Shut up your face.
Yeah, I can hear you all typing away. Hundreds of comments.
Well, that's because they're all trying to get on the free trip to Balvenie in 12 years.
We're used to your short content. How dare you start introducing long content?
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe we'll have to start selling it as ASMR content. We'll just turn the volume down.
I can just speak like. Sorry, everyone.
I can't hear them. That's the problem. So we'll just record it as normal, and I'll.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever been told that my speaking is soft, or that I can't be heard. Yeah.
It's probably just the whiskey pounding in my ears at the moment.
Yeah.
Drink me. Yeah. No, but if I didn't have work tomorrow.
I've missed my chance to tell to be super witty and be like, I wonder if anyone out there is good enough at maths to work out how old this last one is. On the Balvenie.
All right. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm afraid not. 4 12s and a 22.
And rounding it out with a
25.
25-year-old Speyside.
Shame it's not 30. It would have been 100 then.
Yeah. But, oh well.
That's why Chris needs to hire his marketers and card writers.
Yeah. We'll just do the whole thing if he just pays us every single penny of his profits. Although that might not be the best plan if we're correct about his philanthropy.
Yeah.
Might just be indebted.
Wait a minute. So the 6th and special Dram is Boutique Whiskey Co. one, and it's named in their usual poetic style. Speyside number 2, batch 1, aged 25 years.
Yeah, for a boutique, they don't really.
They go all in on like I think it's meant to be a juxtaposition between the label and the name of the brand.
Yeah, because they
And
go
then
mad on their labels and that.
They do. They go really cool label. So the card reads, some 2.5 decades old, this whiskey is the same age that Elizabeth Windsor was when she succeeded the throne in 1952. Old for a whiskey, young for a monarch. To end this celebratory edition on a truly special note, we've really pushed the boat out with a rare independent bottling rumoured to be from the famous Balvenie distillery.
Oh, bad Benny it is.
Balvenie, yeah, Malvenie. We hope you enjoy raising a special toast to a special lady with this special Dram. Cheers. We shall raise it in her honour. So the nose, cherries, juicy plums and vanilla, spices coming through. There's wafts. Would you say wafts or wafts on that?
I would say, I don't know.
I can see it either way.
I'd say waft probably, but that's because I feel like if you're better spoken, you would say waft.
Never call me better spoken again. There's wafts of cloves and other autumnal spices. Would you say clove was an autumnal? I would say clove was like a winter spice.
Yeah.
Autumnal spice is like a cinnamon or a ginger.
Yeah, pumpkin spices.
Yeah.
I had a pumpkin spice cheesecake blondie the other day, which is just too many things to say in one word, but in one name, but it was very good.
Because pumpkin spice is not pumpkin flavoured, it's the spices you use in pumpkin pie, isn't it?
Yeah, which is cinnamon and...
That smells gorgeous. That's really nice smelling.
It is clovey and...
But there's like that baked goods sugariness in there, isn't there?
Like almost like a pumpkin spice cheesecake.
I go back to that, when you get the pastry that's like embedded with the sugar, you can see like the sugar grains in it, like at the edge of like sometimes like a pie, but like a sweet pie though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of with that. That's lovely. Yeah, it's got like a real sweet pastry smell to it.
It's very nice. Ready to try it.
Okay. Let me just... So, on the palate, an oily mouthfeel with zesty orange, sweet and creamy notes, and warming spice. Finish. The sweetness gives way to more spices. There's nutmeg, more orange flavours, and a lingering warmth. So quite a lot of kind of cherry spices almost.
It's very warming.
I want to say like almost cloves in the flavour.
Yeah.
I know you got the spice, but you've got like a weird kind of like a bitterness. But like I'm trying to explain it. Like normally this is gonna sound weird, but normally the mouthfeel kind of goes straight front to back. But that feels like it kind of reverses course a little bit. So it goes front to back, then reverses, and then goes up to the top of the mouth, and then back.
Yeah.
And I know that's like a statement of insanity, but that's how I'm trying to describe it. There's a spice that tastes like that to me. It's not clove.
I can't think what it is.
It's quite dry as well. Quite dry.
It has a marshmallows to it in the finish. It's like
it's very sweet in the finish.
Yeah, like
quite savoury, salty to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, marshmallow. Yeah.
Well, I've finished it and I can't get anything else.
I've got the one last sip, so fill some dead air while I taste it.
I think it is. What was the percentage on that? I've put the bottle away.
51.5.
Because I was going to say it does have It does feel boozier, but it doesn't taste boozier, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like when it's in the mouth, it feels like it's got a high alcohol content, but it doesn't taste like that. Like it carries its flavors a lot better than it carries any alcohol flavor.
Yeah. Do you want to give that one
I would like to give that. I'd probably like to give that a 4.
Syndicate one. Yeah, I'll go 4.
Cool.
Okay.
So I feel like I feel like I'm happy with my original, my entering in on a 2.5. I'm not got a problem with that.
Yeah, lots of high scores in this one.
Yeah.
So that is the 6 of this box. Don't know when it'll get uploaded. It is currently
probably, hopefully before we have to talk about another monarch passing away.
Yeah, it is currently early November. I am aiming at uploads at the moment of 1 a month. Because our drinking rate is slightly below 1 a month, so that should catch us up slowly but surely.
Yeah.
If we start to drink faster, because we've got quite a backlog, I will start uploading faster. So hopefully, whatever time of year it is, you have.
I think hopefully next month we both will have a reasonable amount of time off that we could probably get through some of these for.
Could do. Yes.
But yeah.
We shall see.
Not that I'm saying we should wait until Christmas to this again.
The problem is you've got time off, but then you're doing stuff in that time off.
That is the problem.
Yes, as always, thank you for listening.
Yep.
I'm sure we shall reference back to our Speyside trip in future episodes. But again, the takeaway is, if you like whiskey, Speyside is absolutely 100% worth a visit.
It's densely populated with distilleries. I know it sounds like we went on a massive trek to go and see, basically overlook 7 distilleries in a day or whatever it was, 6 at least. But actually, it was like 3 or 4 miles to do all of that.
And we were missing out closer ones because we've done Glenfiddich, we've done Macallan, we've done Aberlour. If you haven't done any of those, and you were in Dufftown,
you could probably walk
visit
to
those in a day, easy.
You could definitely get the bus to.
And we weren't prepared in terms of places to go for food and that, and we still found some fantastic places. So
yeah,
and it's not particularly expensive. I mean, the cottage we rented was pretty cheap, and it was a nice cottage. So definitely worth a look.
Yep.
As always, thank you for listening, and we shall see you next time.
Cheerio.
Bye.